Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Reyna, and today we're going to be talking about my previous video that I had, and it was me crying in the middle of, the church session that we were, Bible reading together. So I want to talk about my fear of God and why I do have a fear and why it is totally normal to cry during a church setting, a church function, just anything like that, because I personally have the fear of going into a church setting and then getting judged because I'm crying, and it's not a bad thing. So I just want to talk about that, and I just want people to understand that I'm totally coming from a place of true love and true understanding of what everybody else is going through. So, but I'm gonna get ready at the same time. So get ready with me. Okay, let's talk exactly why I have a fear of God, because my fear didn't just come out of nowhere. My fear was definitely something that was built. I've also had a lot of issues in the past of things that have happened. I've had an ex-boyfriend who abused me. I've had people who come into my life for long periods of time and just magically disappear, and it makes me in fear that that's what's always going to happen. I also believe that personally, within my life, I make very bad decisions on the people who come into my life and the people who stay in my life. That's just something that I've always had. I've always had a fear of people coming into my life and they stay in my life for too long, because I don't understand certain periods of what God is trying to tell us, right? Because certain people stay in your life for certain periods of time to teach you or to show you what true love matters and things like that. So let's talk about why exactly I have a fear of God. So my fear started when I started to believe that it was like, you know what, God's giving me crappy relationships. That's literally where it came from. And it was always about like, how come I would get crappy relationships? How come guys would treat me so bad? How come God would put me through certain situations, certain circumstances? I don't understand. Like for me, it was always an I don't know, so I don't want to know, if that makes sense. Like I don't know the answer, so I no longer want to know it. But also, that wasn't a good thing, because I started to not go to church. I started to not understand God. I started to not read the Bible anymore. I started to do so many things that, trust me, were not in my alignment and not in my path. My fear of God is just because I feel like He does love an enormous amount. Like He loves so much. He loves you through the good and the bad and the ugly and everything like that. So for me, I still do bad things on a daily basis. I'm human. I mess up, I sin, I do things that I shouldn't do. So it's always like a fear of like, am I letting this man down? Like, am I truly letting God down? Am I truly doing what is in His path alignment for me? And sometimes I feel like I'm not. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing the complete opposite of what He wants me to do. So that's why I have a fear of God, because I feel like I'm disappointing Him on a daily basis, even though I may not be disappointing people in the world, like my parents or like myself. I'm like, oh, I'm doing really good at this point in time. Like I'm really getting my life together, stuff like that. But then I think about it, I'm like, I'm probably not doing as much as God would like, if that makes sense. So that's why I have a fear of God. And it's totally normal, because I know I'm not the only person who walks into a church setting and gets so overly emotional without even like hearing the word, without even hearing a prayer, without even hearing like anything. I just start crying. Trust me, my tears, my emotions, everything just goes on a rampage. And I don't know why. I don't understand. I've heard many times, and I've been prophesied a few times, that it's literally the Holy Spirit just like reaching you before you even hear anything, because you need it. And to a point I do understand, to a point I don't, because again, I'm still, even though I've always worked in a church and I've always been in a spiritual journey, guys, you have to understand your spiritual journey fluctuates so much. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't work for you, and that's totally normal. But for me, my spiritual journey was a little bit different, because I was kind of also going through a lot during my time. I mean, my two close friends did pass away, so it was very hard for me. And then my ex abused me, and then the guy who I thought I was gonna like fall in love and be in love with forever and ever and ever, like just ghosted me. So it was just like super weird to me. Like my life has just been fluctuated way too much that, you know, now that I'm in a new chapter of my life, I see it completely different. And it's normal to fear God. Like, not that you fear him, it's that you fear of disappointing him. So that's definitely something I want to clarify on what I mean by the fear of God. It's not that I'm so scared, like, oh my God, God's crazy. Like, no, it's like, I personally am so scared to disappoint him and what he truly desires for my life. I'm scared to let him down, and I'm scared for certain things. And that's totally normal to fear that. I think I've had this for most of my life at this point. To fear God. It's normal. No shame in my game. So if anybody, trust me, has this issue of just like, you're so scared to fear God and stuff like that, let me know, because I would like to know if either I'm just alone, or you do have a fear of not even just God, but like your higher being, your higher power. There's just something, trust the process, it'll come together, where you're just afraid of tapping into that higher being, higher power, because I am. So now let's talk about my spiritual journey. I know that this has been kind of like blah. I'm really sorry about that, but it's because I also didn't have a script. This kind of was one of those videos that was like, I'm gonna just throw it together. I've always worked in a church, if you didn't know that. I've always worked in Lakewood. So for me, like, Lakewood was home. That was my church home. It still is. But I've also experienced different churches. I've also understood different churches and stuff like that. So for me, it's not about the church. Yes, to a point it is about the church. It's about where I am getting educated on God, religion, and all that other stuff. But it mainly is about the education behind what the heck I'm learning. God is amazing. God is great. God is a gifted creature. Don't get me wrong. I love God with all my heart. But there are some people who I cannot stand to teach me about God. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Not everybody's gonna teach the word the right way. And that's just how I see it. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, it's just the Bible. You can't mess it up. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You very much can. I like to, personally, I like to be taught in a way where I'm getting educated in a much more understanding way than just Bible-based. I'm not really a Bible-based learner, if that makes sense. I like scenarios, situations, stories. I want to understand on a much more talking level, if that makes sense. Like where you're giving me a story time. I don't know. Maybe this was a rant video. Maybe it was just like a conversation. I don't know. Maybe some people vibe with it. Maybe some people didn't. But like, this is also who I am. My spiritual journey will forever keep growing and growing and growing. It'll never be perfect, and it'll never be what others envision. They're like, you work in a church. Like, how in the world do you, like, your spiritual journey is all over the place and whack and crazy? And it's like, because I'm human at the end of the day, and I will forever be human. So yes, do I implement manifesting? Do I implement a bunch of other stuff? Absolutely. Is manifesting a Bible-based thing? Absolutely not. It's not. But I did post a TikTok about this, which I might input here. I don't know. It's gonna take me some time to do that. But it was also stating like like in the Bible, it also states like you are what you believe type of vibes, right? Manifesting is kind of the same thing. What you believe is what you perceive and what you get, stuff like that. So it just depends. But I do want to read some cards. They are Bible cards. Don't say anything else. You're gonna comment that these are the devil cards. They're not. These are literally Jesus cards. All right, let's pull. They're literally Jesus cards. I just want to get a vibe. It's super early. I think it's like 7:30. It's really early. No coffee just yet, and I started filming for YouTube. All right. What should we know? God, Jesus, universe, the angels. For today. Oh, there we go. All right. Make time to work and rest. We are filled with laughter and sing for pure joy. Psalms 126:2. Okay. The gift of love and light. No one lights a lamp and then covers it with a bowl and hides it under the bed. A lamp is placed on a stand where its light can be seen by all those who enter the house. Luke 8:16. Oh, there was 2. Didn't even see that. Okay. Walk away from illusions and towards the truth. Show me the right path, O Lord. Point out the road for me to follow. Psalms 25:4. Spend more time outdoors. They are like trees planted along the riverbank, bearing fruit each season. Their leaves never wither, and they prosper in all they do. Psalms 1:3. So, here you go. That's kind of just going to guide you for the day, and I hope every single one of you has a beautiful and blessed day, my babies. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.